Welcome to Secular Strike Back, where we're about to blow the lid off the greatest myth of all time. That America was founded as a white, Christian, English-speaking nation. I'm your host, Toothless Grin Kim, and today we're going to take a wild ride through the looking glass of Christian nationalism, where up is down, facts are fiction, and Donald Trump is the self-proclaimed king of alternative history. So buckle up, folks, because we're about to debunk the biggest lie of the 21st century, and it's going to be a hilarious yet infuriating journey. You know, I've always wondered what it's like to live in a fantasy world where facts are mere suggestions and history is whatever you want it to be. Well, if you're a Christian nationalist, you're living that dream. Christian nationalists believe that America was founded by white, Christian, English speaking men who clearly designed the country to be a theocracy, where Christianity reigns supreme and everyone else is just a guest. But as we all know, history has a way of spoiling the party. So let's take a closer look at the official narrative and see how it holds up against reality. So Donald Trump, the great white hope of Christian nationalism, was born in 1946 to German and Scottish immigrants. But ironically, his views on immigration show a blatant disregard for his own ancestral roots. In 2025, this year, President Donald Trump issued 2 executive orders that sparked controversy and criticism from basically everyone who's not a white Christian nationalist. The first order declared English the official language and repeated a Clinton-era rule that required federal agencies to provide language access services because, you know, who needs help when you can just magically speak English? And the second order mandated English proficiency for commercial truck drivers because safety is apparently only a concern when it comes to white Christian truckers. Both actions were widely criticized for being symbolic, discriminatory, and contrary to the U.S.'s lack of a constitutional official language. But hey, when you're a Christian nationalist, facts are just suggestions, and the Constitution is just a guideline. The United States is not a white nation by biology or history, but by a socially constructed racial ideology designed to consolidate power. Historically, whiteness has been a fluid category, excluding groups like Irish, Italians, and Jews in the 19th and early 20th centuries, but later incorporating them as a strategic move to maintain dominance amid demographic shifts. The U.S. Census defines white as people with origins in Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa, with non-Hispanic whites declining from 61.6% in 2020 to 56.3% in 2024. Partly due to reclassification of Hispanics. But despite these changes, white remains a majority when including multiracial identities, though concentrations are highest in the Midwest and New England. It's like a game of racial Tetris. As the pieces change, the narrative adapts to maintain the illusion of white supremacy. The idea that America was founded on white Christian ideals is a myth perpetuated by Christian nationalists who rely on fabricated hierarchies to justify exclusionary policies, racial privilege, and xenophobia. These narratives trace back to colonialism, where whiteness was weaponized to divide laborers, pit racial groups against each other, and suppress collective resistance. Today, white Christian nationalism threatens democracy by promoting ideologies of racial supremacy and violent order, as seen in events like the Capitol riot. It's like they're trying to create a theocracy where Christianity is the only game in town and everyone else is just a spectator. The Catholic Church's Doctrine of Discovery, articulated in a series of 15th century papal bulls, declared that lands inhabited by non Christians were legally empty and could be claimed, conquered, and forcibly converted by Christian powers. Although the doctrine was intended to legitimize European expansion, it became the theological foundation for centuries of colonization, slavery, and violence against indigenous peoples. Pope Francis formally repudiated the doctrine in 2023, but its legacy persists in Western legal systems, notably in the U.S. jurisprudence concerning Native American rights, and continues to shape patterns of land dispossession, economic inequality, and cultural erasure. It's like the ultimate original sin. The Christian church's attempt to justify genocide, slavery, and colonization, all in the name of spreading the good news. When Europeans entered the Americas, way back when, epidemics such as smallpox and influenza decimated native populations, killing up to 90% before large scale settlement began. The pre contact indigenous population, over 10 million, had fallen to fewer than 300,000 by the year 1900 due to disease, warfare, forced relocation, and systematic extermination. The 1830 Indian Removal Act, championed by President Andrew Jackson, culminated in the Trail of Tears, during which the Cherokee and other tribes were coerced into a 1,000-mile winter march. Roughly 4,000 of the 16,000 Cherokee died. Similar policies, including broken treaties, scalp bounty wars, the California Genocide, and the enslavement of indigenous peoples, carried out across the continent. U.S. government programs such as boarding schools, compulsory Christianization, and bans on native languages sought to erase indigenous cultures, leaving intergenerational trauma. It's like the ultimate cultural genocide, the systematic erasure of entire nations, cultures, and languages, all in the name of progress and civilization. And there you have it, folks. The great white lie of Christian nationalism. The myth that America was founded as a white Christian English speaking nation is just that, a myth. It's a fabricated narrative designed to justify exclusionary policies, racial privilege, and xenophobia. But as we've seen, history has a way of spoiling the party. So let's set the record straight. America is a nation of immigrants, founded on the principles of diversity, inclusivity, and freedom. It's time to reject the false narrative of Christian nationalism and build a more inclusive, equitable democracy where everyone has a seat at the table, not just the white Christian English speaking folks, but everyone, regardless of their race, religion, language, or national origin. So, what do you think, Secular Strike Back fans? Have you ever encountered a Christian nationalist who claims that America is a white Christian nation? You definitely have, so let's talk about it. How did you respond? Share your stories, your thoughts, and your opinions in the comments below. Let's get the conversation started and challenge the myths that perpetuate division and reinforce a more inclusive, equitable democracy. This is Toothless Grin Kim of the Secular Strike Back, and if you live in the United States and you would like to support this podcast, please consider making a $3 monthly donation by going to my Patreon and becoming a member. The link is in the description below. Secular Strike Back also now has a newsletter. I have also provided the link to that in the description as well. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye.